Welcome to MarcusG.tv. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano, and I'm a chef on a mission. Today's mission is the Chinese chicken. Well, not really the Chinese chicken. It's the American chicken that can be raised in the U.S., shipped to China, processed in China, and then shipped back to the U.S. Is this feasible? Well, first off, it's already being done with our seafood. Yes, some of our seafood, including calamari from the East Coast, gets shipped all the way to China, processed, and then shipped all the way back to the U.S. for the U.S. market. And of course, this happens in the Pacific a lot, especially with Alaskan fish products like Alaskan salmon will get shipped to China, get shipped to Russia, and get processed in plants there. Crab, Dungeness crab, king crab, all sorts of things. And of course, if you're not careful, or really, sometimes I don't even need to label really all this kind of stuff. It just says, hey, caught in the USA, right? If you see caught in the USA, that's one thing. That says processed in China, okay? So this is all very tricky. So here's something from Food Safety News. And this is from March of 2014. It's not a year old, but it's, you know, this news is always kind of current because it always keeps recycling, and this is the reality of what's happening with our scary food supply. So chicken from China, your seafood is already being processed there. Thanks to Change.org petition, millions of Americans have learned that the U.S. Department of Agriculture is about to allow U.S. chickens to be sent to China for processing and shipped back to the U.S. for human consumption. This arrangement is particularly alarming given China's appalling food safety record and the fact that there will be no on-site USDA inspectors in those plants. Now, in the US, when you're processing, you have the USDA inspector. He's not on there 24 hours a day. He's not on there every time the plant's open, but he has his own office, he has his own bathroom, and he or she is there a lot. And they are ball busters. Okay, every processor I've spoken to does not like the USDA inspector. They're very strict, very harsh, and that could be for our safety. So let's say that's not a bad thing. But on the other side is they have to have their own bathroom. Okay, they don't use the bathroom of the employees. The USDA inspector has to have his own dedicated bathroom. There's other things they have to have their own, and there's all kinds of these odd things that are extra financial requirements. So a small processing plant can't really afford to do the things that a larger processing plant can. So it's sort of a small processing plant has an unfair advantage versus a larger processing plant that can absorb the extra costs by getting these inspections. And it's stupid stuff like having their own bathroom. They need their own bathroom, right? Well, a smaller plant, that's less feasible. Okay, now when I mean smaller plant, these are chickens. You know, when it comes to beef, there's certain beef plants that only do 90 head of animals a day, and there's certain plants that do 400 animals an hour. So you can see the vast difference of the market there, of the volume. So it's like that with chickens too. You know, you can be doing a small amount of chickens, or you can be doing a massive amount per hour. So, in addition, American consumers will never know chicken processed in China is in the foods like chicken soup, chicken nuggets, or anything else that's processed because there's no requirement to label it. So you go to the store, you buy chicken broth, you buy chicken soup, you buy chicken nuggets, you buy chicken filet, you buy chicken parmesan, chicken cordon bleu, all this processed food that's coming prepared. There's no way of actually you as a consumer looking at that package and saying this is processed in China. You'd have no way of knowing. Economically, okay, I've skipped ahead. One frequent refrain we've heard is that no U.S. company will ever ship chicken to China for processing because it doesn't make economic sense. This was precisely the claim made by Tom Super, spokesman for the National Chicken Council, in a recent Houston Chronicle article about the petition. Economically, it doesn't make much sense, Super said. Think about it. A Chinese company would have to purchase frozen chicken in the U.S., pay to ship it 7,000 miles, unload it, transport it to a processing plant, unpack it, cut it up, process it, cook it, freeze it, repack it, transport it back to a port, then ship it to another 7,000 miles. I don't know how anyone could make a profit doing that. This is what the spokesman for the National Chicken Council says. Well, guess what? It clearly does make economic sense because this process is already being used by U.S. seafood, according to Seattle Times. Domestically caught Pacific salmon and Dungeness crab are currently being processed in China, shipped back to the U.S., all because of significant cost savings. Okay, So this article goes on to further state that the average American processing plant employee makes about $11 an hour. The average Chinese processing plant employee makes between $1 to $2 an hour. And $2 is probably a lot for a Chinese position like that. So there's a massive, massive difference in the economics of doing this. So shipping it, so this has been very economical for the seafood companies. They love this. Even if you're shipping it from the East Coast, like I said, from the East Coast all the way to China, whether you're shipping it through the Panama Canal, I don't know the logistics of it, but there's a huge advantage, savings advantage to doing that. So for Tom Super here to think that this is not feasible and logical, it's totally logical, and it's being done in the food industry already. So I keep wanting to stress, and I keep making videos on Chinese food, Chinese garlic, Chinese ingredients, this and that, because it's infiltrated our food supply to no end, and it's going to keep continuing to infiltrate our food supply unless you, the consumer, actually speaks up and says something and votes with your wallet and says, I don't want this. And you get on petition.org, you sign petitions like this, you post Facebook posts, you tweet things out, you make a stance, but you vote with your wallet, and you make every wise decision that you possibly can with your wallet. And I got to tell you, the fast food chains will jump on this in a heartbeat. Okay, so your chicken McNuggets or whatever these things are, all these kind of companies will jump on this in a heartbeat. School cafeterias, anything that can save 10%, 20%, these companies are all over, and that's what they specialize in. It's just cutting corners and buying cheap products and making as much money as they possibly can. So, Chinese chicken, Chinese fish, Chinese garlic, Chinese peas, whatever it is, read labels, read as many labels as possible, buy as much unprocessed food as you possibly can, and when you go to restaurants, really speak up. Let restaurants know, let other chefs know that you're concerned about your food supply, that you're concerned where your food comes from. And ultimately, this is taking away American jobs. We always talk about, presidential candidates, whatever it is, talk about more American jobs, more American jobs, more American jobs. And then the USDA turns around and does something like this, where they allow these jobs to get shipped off just like that. They're allowing for us to lose hundreds of thousands of jobs in processing plants because of this, and processing and facilities. This is, who knows the exact impact. I'm just saying hundreds of thousands of jobs. But whether it's 10,000 jobs or 100,000 jobs, any job is a crucial part of the American economy. So not only is the USDA letting this happen, but if you purchase this stuff, you're letting it happen. And I've always taught my kids, when you go to the store, you look for American-made products. You look for American-made clothes. You look for American-made. It's almost getting to a point where it's impossible to go to a grocery store, to go to a clothing store and buy American products. So it's one of those things where you have to be very dedicated, and sometimes you have to spend more money, but sometimes you don't, because I got to tell you, a lot of these companies, when they switch from American workforce to Chinese workforce or Asian workforce or Bangladesh, wherever they're getting it from, Egyptian, they never adjusted their costs. They kept the retail price the same of the t-shirt, of the pants, of the shoe. Everything stayed the same, right? So now they're just making these bigger corporate profits, okay? And they're charging consumers the same. We're still paying the price as if it was made in America. And that's what really gets me. I have shirts, I have a lot of running shirts that are 15 years old, that are fantastic quality, and they're all made in America. These same brands, when I go rebuy these shirts, none of them. I have Nike stuff. I still have Nike running clothes that are made in the USA. This is going back to 2000, 2001. All USA. That's all there was. You went to the store, you went to a big box store to buy stuff, you found made in the USA. I have a ski jacket still from the mid-90s, made in the USA. So vote with your wallet, people. Vote with your wallet. Be conscious. Ask as many questions as possible, whether it's your food, whether it's your clothes. Make a difference. Support American jobs. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. Thanks for watching this. If you like my videos, please hit like, subscribe to my channel, and definitely pass it on.